Okay. Well, why does that not make any sense? Nope. Oh, okay. Don't make me a target. Not don't make me a target. That was a blue nose one. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, 100. I got that wrong. Spring. Still available. Go away. Specialty flavored archives. Uh, well, how do I find this one? Stupid Instagram. Product details. Mm. Okay. Do we go live? We seem to have gone live. Looks like you're live. Yep, there we go. All right. Well, checking sound quality, and then yeah, I left up everything that we need. Annie's not here, and oh my god, I'm just trying to keep my head on straight at the moment. I'm kind of sleepy. I am Ross. Ian is not available tonight, so on my onesies for the very first broadcast of 2026, just how the week's worked out, I am attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. Also, despite the fact that every chaotic, fracturing thing has happened globally in the last week, so we are 1 week in. We are 1 week in, and we're oh my god, we're barely hanging on. Anywho, yeah, good luck Ukraine, good luck Minnesota. So that yeah, that's what you get. We're starting in North Brewing, if you can see behind me, because I went through the closet there to see what we've got, and what we've got are some beers that they're celebrating something. They're definitely trying to celebrate something, and we are long past when we were celebrating. So first up is Deaf Awareness Month, celebrated lagered ale out of North Brewing, and I mean, honestly, I probably should have checked. Yeah, so September of 2025. So September is Deaf Awareness Month, and so this was back from September. And it's just a lagered ale, which I'm curious about. Is lager always an ale, or is lager a lager? So, God, they're making me ask all these interesting questions immediately. Not too much on the description of things. It just seems to be, and also it's I think it's a crushable because it's at a 4.0. And what they were doing, so it was called Sip, Sign, Celebrate, and they were donating, so North Brewing was donating $1 from each can to the Deaf and Hard Hearing Youth Association to promote inclusion and support the deaf community. So, yay, good. It's stuff like this. This is one of the main reasons that I love the craft beer industry and working in partnerships with different things. Even working in partnerships with each other. Like I contemplated getting out the Together We Brew that we had from last season, but I wanted to make sure that Ian was available for that one because the Together We Brew Church Brewing collaborated with, I think it was with Good Robot, maybe? Ew, I think I'm getting that wrong. But it was an English bitter. Can't have an English bitter without having my Ian here, so we're going to have we're going to have this one. We're going to have the Deaf Awareness Lagered Ale, which smells nicely lagery. Pretty much. I mean, a 4% lager, so honestly, these are all pretty lightweight. I'm not trying to do anything, leave Ian out of the really good stuff. So mostly just try to talk through a couple of these, and yeah, just have a wee chat. How's everyone doing? He said to absolutely nobody. This is a podcast of one, which happens every now and then, but coming from there's nothing, there's literally nothing else in the can. Just this 4.0. It is a lagered ale, so it's basic, and they're donating $1. So there, $1 towards the Deaf and Hard Hearing Youth Association. So yeah, thank you, North Brewing, and cheers. So we've been having this conversation about is it Briggenbark? No, it is Briggenbark. Briggenbark are down the Windsor location, and we've been back and forth with our friends in Windsor, and they really like the Briggenbark lineup, and we've been talking about the difference between the flight of IPAs, basically the session IPA, the big IPA, and the double IPA. The session IPA is down at the 4.0, 4.1, 4.2. Let me just be absolutely sure that I know what I'm talking about. Brig and Bark Session IPA, which is it is quite delicious. 3.5%, less of a percent than this. This is a crushable lagered ale, and this, unlike the Session IPA from Briggenbark Brewing, this North Brewing, I'm sorry, is watery. This is damn near flavorless. It is a charitable beer. I'm glad, in a very small way, I'm supporting, the deaf and hard of hearing youth association. but that's not a very good beer to do it with. And, I mean, it's the Youth Association. How do you brew beer for a youth association? Yeah, we're, making addictive chemicals for kids. Cigarettes for toddlers. You know the charity. It's all your favorites. Doping for Dalmatians. Yeah, that's very watery. There's not a lot of flavor on that at all. You basically that tastes like beer that you left out one night. And we are getting into some older stuff, but that's just from September, so that should taste like how it's supposed to taste like. Bitterness, no. Stankiness, no skunky flavor on the tail end of that. It's doing just fine entirely. So, is it good? Eh? Lagered ale. If you just said it was a lager, like a light lager, maybe. But when you say lagered ale, is a lagered ale different than a lager? Here we go. A lagered ale, like a Kolsch, okay, is different from a lager because it's fermented with ale yeast, but then cold condition, cleaner finish, blending ale characteristics, fruity, malty notes, and lager crispness. Crisp, fine, but I mean, this isn't even ice cold, so the ale characteristics, I was really kind of pipe dreaming that it maybe would be a bit more like an ale than like just a flat lager, and it doesn't get there. It's not undrinkable, it's just super boring and flavorless. Man. Oh. It's a 4%, so you put them away, but I know what this tastes like. Okay, if you like buble, those those bubbly the buble waters, the sparkling waters, you'll like this because, like we always say, this tastes like someone in another room is shouting the flavor at you. It's so far away. There probably is a really tasty flavor in here, but it's so watered down. I can't drink a buble because I'm like, oh, it's just you're drinking the reminder of flavor as opposed to flavor itself. So this is just this drink reminds you of lager, and that if that frightens you, then yes, continue to be frightened. I'm also not sure that this one is available anymore. Probably not, because uh, if you go to if I even try to go to the North Brewing site, it looks pretty gone. Let's see. Oh, look at that enamel mug. Oh, that's awesome. They got one of those metal camping mugs. That's pretty cool. I don't. I'm glad I collect glasses and not like caps or sweaters. Ugh. I mean, I've got some stickers, I think. Oh, cool. There's some squeaky toys. There's stickers and magnets. Could maybe get into magnets because I'm thinking the stickers like I put up on my sticker guitar over here, which is very much in tune. Cheers. It is not in tune at all. This is oh, I did say it wasn't undrinkable, but I am kind of struggling to get through this just because the undrinkable side of things, it's boring. It's so boring. I'm sorry. We were just discussing last week how much we love what comes out of North Brewing, and just like we absolutely enjoy just about everything that we have. So what have I got to say here is January 7th, and we're getting into it, and this is the Deaf Awareness Month lagered ale from North, and 6. I don't know if I can go any higher than 6. I want to like it. I do. For a lagered ale, I want to give it a chance, but yawn. Just, ugh, no flavor. No flavor. Well, Like it's a 2 out of 10 on flavor. So I'm being very nice with my 6. That's why, yeah, 5 is the threshold for drinkable. So it is a 2 out of 10 from 5. Yeah, so it's a 1 out of 5 from 5. So it's a 6. 6 out of 10. Smooth, delightful, easy to drink, no aftertaste. Fine, good, yay. But oh man, okay, let's just get rid of this. Okay. Normally, the next thing we do is drink the is to drink the next one on the percentage scale. But I think we're gonna go backwards in time a little bit and just try our best at that one, because the next one that goes back in time is the queer berry brew from Garrison. So this was Garrison's Pride Month. Halifax Pride is more than just a festival. It's a year-round commitment to uplifting, advocating, and celebrating 2 SLGBTQIA plus voices. A portion from every can sold goes to Halifax Pride. Now, the good old, oh my God, I don't want to get too deep into it, but the Pride festivals, I'm not sure if Toronto had a bit of a problem because they decided that they weren't going to invite the police department, I think. And then they got a little snippy about that. Halifax Pride has been having a bit of a problem with management / organization insofar as they, what's the nicest way I can put this? They have a lot of well-meaning organizers who want the best for Halifax Pride, but their organizers, and this may have changed. In the last 2 to 3 years, they've been having trouble with organizers of the Pride Festival and the Pride Parade especially, not maybe being the best at organizing stuff. Probably the best for like promotion, representation, yes. But I think it's the kind of thing where if you have the person waving the flag at the front of the parade and then you put them in charge of the festival, and I mean in charge, I mean like parking and sponsors and this and that. So there was an overwhelming factor for that. And also, it's a nonprofit. All these things are very nonprofit. So I don't know why I'm mouthing off about the organization behind the Pride Parade, but I guess that's just where we are right now. There's no one to tell me to shut up or to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. These are all things that I just sort of heard basically off the radio. I'm getting these off sources and whatnot. So, do the Pride festivals have their own issues? Yeah, everything's got issues. Nothing's perfect, and we are no different here in Halifax. So that's just what I'm hearing is kind of going on. Is there were maybe some issues. I think it still went off without a hitch. I've honestly not been. But I don't like to hang out in Halifax in the summer because I don't like tourists. I say that. I don't like Halifax tourists. No, I don't like Valley tourists either. But I do deal with tourism on a regular basis in the summertime. Just few and far between, and it's on a different scale. Regardless, here we go. The Garrison Queer Berry Brew. So this goes back to Pride, which would have been June of 2025. Go back a little bit further. It says Proud Hazy Ale 5.0 beer with natural berry flavor. So now we're talking. Now we're getting into something. I am more on par with this one. It says flavors pear, raspberry, and blackberry. Again, nothing else beyond that. Other than, there's a portion of it is being donated to Halifax Pride. This is great. And everything there. So celebratory wise, we got the Deaf Awareness Month, followed by Pride Month. I'm looking forward to this because I'm hoping pear, raspberry, blackberry. Oh yes, that's got some nice fruit flavors already in there to it. Normally, blackberry is very strong, so you can get a lot of blackberry in something. But honestly, I'm smelling more of raspberry off the top of that one. No, there's the blackberry. You put like an ounce. Why are people making blackberry ales like all the time? The flavor of it is it's out of this world. I gotta once I start harvesting maybe a bit more of the fruit that grows in my yard. Like I've got raspberry plants out there, and I planted some blueberry plants, but to make a blueberry ale, you need so many blueberries just because the flavor dissipates. Raspberry, same way. I feel like if you had like 6 blackberry plants, that would be enough, and you could just make a whole ton of the stuff for you right there. Right then and there. The head went away immediately. What is this even made of? And also, Proud Hazy Ale. This is so clear. But perhaps the sea monkeys are at the bottom. So we won't judge the color just yet. Smell, again, definitely a raspberry blackberry mix. It's not bad. So yeah, just give that one a whip, Charles. There's the haze. There was a little bit of haze down at the bottom of the can. All right, it just wouldn't fit in my cough 16-ounce pint glass from Garrison. I think this is one of the ones my wife got me. But yeah, okay, a slight amount more haze there. And so these celebration ones, one of two things usually happens where you do something every year and you're just like, oh yeah, quick, make something for them really quick, and you just sort of hastily throw something together, or you've already made something and you just sort of dedicate it to someone. So I feel like the lagered ale was probably well, we've already made it. What are we gonna do? Oh, let's collaborate with someone and do that. The Queerberry brew is because the Garrison does this every year. They've got a Pride beer, and honestly, I feel a little slightly uncomfortable constantly saying the word queer because I feel like I don't deserve to be the one saying it. I am very, cisgendered male. But it's the name of the beer is the Queerberry Brew, so sorry, but 2S LGBTQIA plus. Am I getting that right off the top of the dome piece? Maybe. But yeah, it's just the name of it, and I try to do, I'm trying to mostly talk about Pride Month. But if you think I'm saying queer too many times, then it's just the name of the beer. I'm sorry. Anyway, so let's get the rest of the haze in there. And it does shout in big letters "Happy Pride" on the side of it, which I do like. It's a 5.0. If I didn't already point out, that is that is coming through like a slightly more flavorful seltzer. Like, I don't know, 25% more than a buble. We are in very much buble mode here, where that is just kind of a faint hint of a flavor trying to come through. A nice flavor, albeit. I'm not quite so sure about the pear, but definitely a raspberry blackberry mix. The two of them are certainly in there. Food pairing with egg dishes. What? I'm having a plate of scrambled eggs. I need a beer to go with it. Oh, try my Halifax Pride Month berry brew with it. Why do you have the exact same voice as me? Don't ask questions and drink your breakfast beer with your scrambled eggs, you ridiculous fop. It is a bit of a foppish voice. I don't agree with the egg dishes thing. Fruitcake? Yes, all right. I would have that with a strong thick dessert type thing. Sort of a desserty beer, a bit. That's come up on more than one occasion, so I still don't quite understand. I personally don't drink beer with dessert. Well, no, well, if we've got an imperial stout, we're having it here on the show. So when I am kind of picking out a beer that I'm going to drink myself on my own, it's usually, hey, it's 9:30 p.m. and I'm looking for something on the TV. Or hey, we're going to a party and I could use some beers, and invariably it's not too not inventive. Is there a individualistic? That might have been the word I was looking for. I was stuck on innocent, and that's not it. It is. I feel like maybe a 7 might be generous. Queerberry brew. Hazy ale. from Garrison. Ah, it's okay. It's a 5.0, so it's less sessionable, and it would, you'd sit around and be all excited. So honestly, for walking in the parade on a hot day, probably good. For like crushing that back, it's almost a lawn mowing beer with a little tang of some fruité. It's not like a shandy or a radler. It's a weak radler, but it's just it's a 5.0 hazy ale, natural berry flavor. I could have used a little bit more, so it's not knocking the socks off. Is it doing what you think it's doing? For a celebratory beer, I feel like a special occasion requires a special punch of what it's doing. Like if you're making a special occasion beer, don't mute it. These both so far feel very muted. This one less than the North. The North one feels extremely muted, and this one just feels it's pretty muted. Like I said, I mean the scoring is indicative. Why can I think of the word indicative but not the word individualistic? Man, yeah, my eyes. I need to eat more carrots. I can't think of the eyeliner words. That's a funny joke. Trust me. Please laugh. Oh, what was that one? That was please clap. That was that guy. He was running for governor, president. What was he running from? I don't remember the guy's name. You come here for the beer reviews, but you stay for the very vague and all over the place political references, the meandering political references. That was my band, my pop grunge band in high school. Was the meandering references? We were pretty good. I should probably continue drinking this, but I'm a little worried about trying to stay on topic because when I don't have Ian here to have some good references and some stories going back and forth, I'm really worried about all the stuff that I'm actively thinking about right now that I'm trying to push out of my head by doing this. And this is like I mentioned earlier with the global news and whatnot. But instead, I'm just trying to mouth off about the Pride Parade organizers, which I have no business doing, no awareness of, and I just seem to be pooping on everyone for no reason whatsoever. So let's see if there is any anecdotal information for Midday or no, because I'll probably just end up complaining about driving places and doing things. It is January. We've talked about our wintry December. It is currently a rainstorm here in this particular section, and honestly, most of Nova Scotia right now. There's a whole lot of rain coming down. So it's washing all the snow away, which is a big favorite thing that happens in Nova Scotia right after a snowstorm, is raining all of that snow away. And I was talking about this with someone recently where it's usually the precedent that it goes snowstorm, rainstorm, snowstorm, rainstorm, and having two snowstorms or numerous snowstorms one after another that just pile up, pile up, pile up. I think that's really happened once in the last 10, 15 years where it just keeps accumulating snow on top of snow. And that's almost what December was doing until that finally went away. So yeah, it's I did shovel the driveway. I did, honestly, there was one day. There was enough that I tried getting the snowblower running, but because I hadn't got it running in a while, it wouldn't start. So that I think I'm gonna have to give that another kick. Try to see if I can get the engine going. I'll try it in the warm. That's what happened because my car wouldn't start the other day because it was so cold. I know it's a rainstorm now. It was minus 14 the other day. That's crazy cold. So that, and it was the holiday. It was the Christmas holiday. So I hadn't been driving my car that much. So it just would not start. So we were nowhere. I'm gonna have another big chug of this Garrison brew once again. Again, it smells great. It smells so good. I think that's why I'm disappointed by it because the taste doesn't follow the smell well enough. That's why it's disappointing. where it's, oh, big smell. The smell is 9 out of 10. The taste is a 7 because it just goes away. And honestly, reading the word egg, I need to get rid of this tab because I just keep seeing the word egg dishes where they're talking about the queerberry brew. Is there anything else? Honestly, Halifax Pride Parade controversy. Let's see. Faced internal disputes over inclusivity, banning certain groups, political tensions, safety concerns, anti-school protests. I've seen clashes over police involvement, the rights in schools, differing views on protest versus celebration, reflecting pride or blah. Key controversy. So police. Oh, it was Halifax. It was police participation. I thought it was. I thought that was in Toronto. Political absence, pro-Palestinian disruption, protests versus external political pressures. I feel like organizer talks planning Halifax Pride in light of rising discrimination. HRM didn't fill out the application in time. Anybody have a Halifax Pride? Toxic due to some toxic. Okay, so this is rumors and conjectures. Maybe on the Halifax subreddit, some CBC article or some interviews that I listened to, and it wasn't. I'm not saying that it's dysfunctional. Far from it. It just seemed to me, from an outsider who totally ignorant, do not listen to me, do not listen to my opinions. I know absolutely nothing. But if you get people who are really passionate about pride, about inclusivity, but then you say something like, okay, we're going to get our own rocket ship, and then you have to invent the Pride space program. What if everyone's not a good mathematician slash physicist slash astronaut, and now you've got a Pride space program, but it might not do that well because the specialty is not in the event focus. Planning a parade and governing an organization, a non-for-profit organization, takes a certain skill set that I don't have. Don't call me up and say, hey, plan my parade. I'm going to say, holy crap, I'm going to put out what do they say, a tender, no, put out a request for proposal, an RFP, and see who can come in and say, hey, yeah, I'll plan your parade for this. It takes someone who can do that kind of thing. And I'm not to say that someone who's highly passionate and involved in pride couldn't do it. I bet they could. But when you have something that is predominantly not profit-based, I doubt someone with the skill set to plan an awesome parade or be the best organizer of a nonprofit is probably not coming to do it on the cheap. Not to say that we don't have enough money here, or Halifax Pride doesn't have a lot of money. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to say there may have been issues, and there apparently the little controversies and things of, oh, it's inclusive, but it's not inclusive enough, and they're arguing about whether or not it should be pro-Palestinian or not pro-Palestinian. Speaking of things, well, no, that's been going on for is it entering its second year? Was that October? Yes, October 2024. Israel, the Israeli strikes. Yeah, yeah. So it's 20. So that's been going on for over a year. That additional conflict going on over there. What else? Iran, they're marching in the streets. I don't quite understand why they're marching in the streets. Something's going, and that's the thing. I feel like there's missing information. There's something is going on in Iran that is causing massive inflation by hundreds of percentage increase of inflation. It is going crazy. So they all march in the streets, and I'm like, so, I mean, is marching in the streets going to fix that? You go out there and say, no, put our dollar back down, please. And the government's like, okay. And they just turn the little button and dunk, 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 there. Bread only costs $4 again. Hi, bird. I don't know why the Iranian government is the Snuffleupagus voice in my head, but that's to bring it all the way back to the fact that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And we're just making crap up and having a good time here on the internet on a Wednesday night drinking some beer. if Snuffleupagus being in charge of the Israeli military doesn't do it for you, I don't know what's gonna. We are slash I am a non-serious entity around here. And it's kind of sad because I'd like to be serious about the one thing we're supposed to be serious about, which is Nova Scotia craft beer. And so the serious part about that is I want to tell you that Nova Scotia craft beer is delicious and you should drink it. And it's really, really diverse, and there's lots of different types to try it, and almost all, and like I said at the very beginning, a lot of the brews are always doing these collaborations and trying to bring attention to charitable organizations or interesting anniversaries, which was our next one. So that it is kind of, I wouldn't say it's an expertise, but I guess that would be the thing that we're serious about. We're serious about promoting these breweries and getting people to drink these beers and stop drinking Budweiser and Stella Artois and Pabst Blue frickin' Ribbon. But other than that, we are not serious people. I will drop Snuffleupagus references into a sudden conversation where I'm talking about the conflict in Palestine. That's how unserious we are around here. This Garrison one, it's a 5.0. It's flavorsome, but it's I can't believe it's been going on for that long. I'm losing my connection. That's me in the corner. Losing my religion. Well, apparently it's still there. Whatever. Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot. I stopped being in North. There we are. Now we're in Garrison for this last couple of little sips. So the Israeli thing that's only been going on since 2024. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, that's got to be like 3 years old now, right? Russia invades Ukraine, and yes, I'm using the word invade. 2022, February. So that's coming up on 4 years of that war. And these are wars that stay in the news. They stay in the top line, top page, top story of the news. We're still talking about Russia and Ukraine. So that's still a thing. And then the most recently, it's not an invasion, but the United States abducted the president of Venezuela. And I'm baffled. I mean, yeah, I'm baffled. I'm baffled for so many reasons. And I feel like for a lot of things going on, the world is baffled. Because that doesn't really happen. That's just so surprising. That I'm not even sure that Venezuela was like on the radar of most of the sitting government, where it's always like, oh, you get an approval from Congress to go to war, then you got to go right back and forth. Hey, can I go to war? The Congress says, yes, you can definitely go to war. All right, to war we go. It wasn't. There we go. Let's look up timeline of U.S. involvement in WW2 after Pearl Harbor. That's what I want. So the Japan attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941, the U.S. immediately entered World War II, declaring war on Japan on December 8th. Okay. The entry into war. U.S. declares war. But how did the U.S. have to agree to go to war after Pearl Harbor? That's what I want to know. The U.S. had to formally agree to go to war after Pearl Harbor. Congress declared war on Japan on December 8th, A day after, so the attack was December 7th. Congress declared war following President Roosevelt's request after the attack. The declaration was nearly unanimous. I mean, you're at that point. But the thing is, the U.S. Constitution requires Congress to declare war, process completed through joint resolution after the attack. The Constitution requires Congress to declare war. Ugh. This gets scarier and more depressing by the moment. Can we go back to Snuffleupagus references, please? This is what happens when I don't have Ian to talk to. And honestly, God, what would we have done? We might have bounced this off each other. We might have talked about this a little bit. This is pretty fresh. Not the Venezuela thing, but there's other stuff as well. I'm still reeling. I'm reeling from the Venezuela thing because it's so recent, and they're immediately going into things like, well, why don't we just invade other places? And people are saying, okay, why doesn't everyone else in the world just do that as well? And there's talk of China just sort of saying, why don't we just invade Taiwan like we've been wanting to for years and years? And the reason that they haven't been is because the whole world, everyone's just sort of said, because you just don't do that. But what happens when one person is all like, we could just do that? And if you're not thinking about what the rest of the kids are going to do on the playground once they realize that all you have to do is slap one kid and not get in trouble for it, and then all of a sudden it's just a slap fest. Like, are we... I don't know where we're going. I'm scared to go down this line of thinking, but this is kind of where I'm at. So, in the meantime, Saltbox, and here is a little bit of admission. Is we've had this one for a while, and I looked it up. So the Saltbox, the 100th anniversary. I thought it was the 106. Look at this stupid thing. 10, and then you get the stripe through it, so 100. Yes, it looks like 100 now, but it looked like 106 to me earlier. So I thought this was the 106 high altitude ale. It was the 100. The 100 high altitude ale in partnership with the Royal Canadian Air Force Association. Whether it be air defense, maritime patrol, search and rescue, air mobility and sustainment, aerospace control, Canadians can rely on the RCAF to serve them at home, across the globe, and beyond. The RCAF supports air and space operations in Canada and across the world. Partnership with the Royal Canadian Air Force Association, Saltbox Brewing is donating partial proceeds of sales to the Royal Canadian Air Force's Centennial Fund in honor of the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Force, which was in the spring of 2024. So this one is... it's maybe 2 years old. It's close. It's a year and a half. It's a little bit old, but the other side of things is it is a 4.3, and no one knows what the hell it is. It's a high altitude ale. I love this. Specific details about the beer's style, such as its exact flavor profile, may be limited, as it was a specific celebratory release. I mean, who do you call Saltbox and say, "Hey boys, what did this beer taste like?" I don't know that I want to do that. It's still got some head to it. Well done, y'all. Oh, that's a good one. KDVD Brewery. I do like that one. Am I getting some notificaciones? Nope, nothing there. Oh dear, that is some more stuff that I don't want to read about. Why am I talking about global politics when I can be talking about shows? shows that I'm involved in. There's some stuff coming up here in Wolfville. There's a one-act play later on in February. We've got a submission for that I'm rehearsing, and then I'm part of I joined a friend's comedy night that's going to happen later on in April. Yeah, I think it's in April. So we got some good times. Do you like good times? Because we got good times. We're not always doom and gloom, talking about the world about to explode any second now. There's the head has kind of gone away, but that's okay because this is a high altitude ale, year and a half old. It's been in there a while. I don't remember how I said this during one of the podcasts, but I am going to stop holding back the burps because I think I have decided that the craft beer industry should be when we were kids, we learned when someone would say, "Ooh, don't burp." And then someone snuck it to us that in certain cultures, I believe India, in certain cultures, burping is good. Here we go. China, Taiwan, and India, and the Middle East, burping after a meal is considered a sign of satisfaction, a compliment to the host. So, we clung to that. It was a compliment. No, I'm not being rude. I am complimenting the host, the chef, the bar, the server, the pourer, everybody. It is a compliment to them. So, my burps are the best compliment I can give to the Garrison brew, despite the fact of giving them a 7 out of 10 for the flavor of it. But the burps are there. You get a 7 out of 10 and like 6 burps. Enjoy. What's my massage now? Who's that from? There is. There, because I'm there. My wife is asking because she seems to be peckish for something. But the 106th, what's not? Where the heck? Pride, no. Garrison, no. Saltbox, high altitude ale, special 100th commemorative brew. Nobody knows what it tastes like. But again, proceeds. Apparently, I helped proceed towards the 100th anniversary, where we're coming up on the 102nd anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Hey, and so yeah, helping out with each of these cans. I'm putting proceeds towards everything. So cheers, thanks. Oh, KDVD Brewery's beloved institution in Newfoundland. Finally, we got some body. The other two, the lagered ales, so much, so light in body. I would maybe give the Garrison a medium body. This is still medium bodied, but the flavor in the body is matching. It's a year and a half old, at a 4.3%. But honestly, is it the fact that I'm 2 beers in? Or it's just the fact that the other two sucked? I think this is the best one yet. This is a borderline 8. I think this is a 7.9. I'll get to the bottom of it. But yeah, this is much better. It's sticking on there. It's sticking around on the mouth feel. Is there a bit of fruitiness, or am I just getting a little bit of the Garrison Pride Month one? No, this is reminding me of like really good. I mean, the darkness. It's a very darkened ale, but the pilsners of like a banana clove. flavor. Yeah, this has given me Kolsch, Pilsner. There's another one in there, like a lighter ale. It's super. It's coming up super amber. And again, year and a half, so I'm not sure if I'm getting skewed things. Does not taste terrible. So Saltbox, holy crap, well done. This one holds up over the years. It's not, again, it's not amazing. You haven't even told me what the hell it is supposed to be. Is this just supposed to be some sort of, hey, it's a four, as soon as you see less than 5%, does it just become, hey, I know, you want to celebrate the Royal Air Force with the Royal Canadian Air Force? Get this in you, buy, like, buy this one after this one. And honestly, okay, for each of these, and I'll go from the lowest percentage. So I'm at a Deaf Awareness Month event. You're there. You're in the Lions Hall or the conference center, something like that. And they're like, here is the official beer for it. Clunk. And you're drinking it. And they say, here you are. Here's the Deaf Awareness Month official beer. It's a lagered ale partnered with North Brewing. You're like, oh, yum, okay. And you drink it down. You take your first gulp, and you're like, oh, ew, oh. And I think they say, hey, will you have another? Definitely, what else you got? And they could say things like, well, we've got Bud Light. Nope. We've got Keats. Maybe. And if they don't say anything craft-wise after that, like even Propeller IP, if they had Hoppy Buoy, usually they've got one of the big ones. Dirty Blonde is everywhere. Oh, I would switch up to a Dirty Blonde from the lagered ale. So I would toss. I would totally switch over from the North lagered ale. Again, sorry, North Brewing, but it's just not flavor. Garrison, you're hanging out. You're at the Garrison grounds. It's a pride event. They're doing, a drag quiz show or something like that. Man, that'd be funny. Why don't we do drag quiz shows? More quiz shows. Canada, dear Canada, you're going to listen to me, all 33 million of you, 34? Listen up. We need more shows like Gavin Crawford's Because News, just constantly. We need to do what the UK is doing. We need to get comedy and quiz shows and panel shows on, because you know what? Quebec's doing it. Quebec is doing it better than the rest of us. We are not doing this. There are panel shows and fun shows as part of Quebec French programming all the time, and we don't get them. I would try to watch, but my French is terrible. But we need to get comedy back in there. And current events and comedians, it can happen. There's the Debaters on CBC. There's Gavin Crawford's Because News. It's hilarious. It's really, really good. I just want to listen to funny people make light of things more. So I want a drag quiz show. I just want that. And strangely enough, I know a number of people that could potentially make that happen. I wonder if Les would like me to do that. I gotta talk to Les. I have so many ideas. And they mostly only come out after I've had a couple beers. I was talking about repeat things. So you're at a Pride event. You're at a drag quiz show that doesn't exist yet, but it should. And you're having this Garrison Pride, the Queer Bear brew, and you drink, and you're like, ugh. And they say, what else will you have? Will you have another one? I'm like, what else you got? And that is a good question. If they offered you the blonde ale, the Dirty Blonde, I think I might stick with the berry brew. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And I think it's more thematic than the Dirty Blonde. If you were somewhere that was like posh and they were rocking, they've got the Jamboree Sour or the Fembot Sour from Good Robot, or any number of fruited some kind of thing, yes, I would switch, because I think that's the not as goodest of many of the local crafties that I've had. I might switch to a jamboree, and I don't like the jamboree very much, but I'd switch to a different sour from this one, this so-called hazy proud ale. What was it called? The Proud Hazy Ale. Yeah, it wasn't very hazy. Now the light ship. It's on the glass. Sorry, Saltbox. Now the high altitude ale. So I'm there. I'm wearing my military hat, and I'm like, here we go. And they're up there giving speeches and saying the Royal Canadian Air Force was responsible for this and so many of this, and they flew proud and very well done and blah blah blah. You're like, yep, absolutely delicious, and you're drinking this. And they say, will you have another? Yep. Yep, I think I would. If I'm sitting in a room of Air Force uniforms at an Air Force event, yes, I'd have another of these. Probably most every other place, no. If you're in the pub, you'd give this a try, and you're like, what else you got? Honestly, I was thinking about it today. I had to drop my daughter off. She was going to a hockey practice, and it's really close to sea level brewing up in Sheffield Mills. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure they've got Port in the Storm Porter in their fridge right now. So I should go get a few cans of that. I didn't, but I think I'm gonna wander around tomorrow. And by wander around, I mean go down to Briggenbark and just okay, go get some Port in the Storm from sea level. That's like 10 minutes up the road. Go 5 minutes down in the other direction. See if there's anything new and interesting at Bay of Fundy Brewing. Probably pick up some Cape Split Pale Ales, because they're good. And then try and see what's going on. And then go over to Briggenbark for either the double IPA or the big IPA. Because I feel, I need some percentage. I know buddies of mine, and they like their they like the Session IPA, and I do too. I love this. I do like it because it's got flavor for a less percentage than this North Brewing thing. So it's flavorful for being low percentage. And Dave has been on the show before. David Foley. He and I were discussing this just this afternoon. He says, "Do you ever try to do the 0%, like the 0.5 ones?" And I said, "I haven't, but Ian's been giving me a hard time about it." And I feel like we need to get some people involved. And he said, there's a bunch of them, and they're available at the different establishments. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we gotta have a 0.5 night. Ugh, that'll suck. Probably drink like 4 or 5 of those. Sorry, I'm apparently really popular when I try to do any one type thing. I like this. I think it's pretty good. And for 4.3, I'm trying to talk myself into going past that 7.9 that I mentioned. But I think, even though, again, at the event, at the Royal Canadian Air Force event, yes, I'll have another. Because, I know you're not rocking anything better than this behind the counter at a Royal Canadian Air Force event at the Legion. If you've got a Rickard's Red back there, that's posh. And there might be a couple of Guinnesses, but what I've learned is, this is where I kind of move over into the hard liquor, depending on who's driving. Yeah, I this is rather good. And the score depicts that it is the better of the 3 high altitude ale. I like what type is this? I don't really even know. I don't think I can bring that all the way up to an 8.0. clackety 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 clack. My friends love this. Is just me clacking and clacking at everybody because my wife is hungry and my sister is guilty. No, not guilty. She's feeling guilty, and I need to talk everybody down from a ledge. It has been, according to this, we're into our full hour, but I think I started a little late, and I'm gonna cut all the gaps and whatnot out of this. But I did finish these three, getting a few more slightly outdated ones out of the fridge. I am glad I tasted all three of these. I wish we could have got to the Garrison to the Pride one. Hopefully, there's gonna be a couple of extra Pride ones next year, and I would love to get a bigger crew for a Pride thing. I'd love to get a bigger crew every week. Honestly, I feel like we should have like 5-6 people every single week, but that would just be chaos, and it would take 2 hours, and my wife would be slightly upset. Regardless, did like it. I want to thank North Brewing for making and Garrison and Saltbox for making these beers, for collaborating with these groups, and for donating proceeds to each of these groups. Again, this is why I love the craft beer industry in Nova Scotia, is because of these collaborations, because of these donations, because of an extra dollar goes towards all of this one. And I feel like everyone's doing this, and if I can do my small part by just trying to pump it up as best as possible, then that's all I got. Ian will be back next week, thank goodness, because then I won't talk about things that I have no business talking about. Oh, if we had any viewers, we'd have so many complaints at this point. But anyway, you can check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/drink at drinknsdry, which you're watching live right now. And there's so we'll put them up there. There's excerpts on the YouTube page, on the Instagram, and on the TikTok page, I think, sometimes. And you can find our podcast on the podcasty places, or you can go straight to the source at drinkns.unsupervised.beer. I had a good time, and I will see you next week. We're here every week, live on the YouTube channel. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We had to maneuver the last couple, but we're back to normal, back to Wednesdays, because they're not